Welcome back to the Derby County TV channel, and today we're going to be talking about the post-Peterborough game, which is a lot easier to talk about than the last few weeks. To be fair, we did win against Fleetwood, but we just didn't really have the time to talk about that game. But I think the change in tactics has seemed to have done well in these last couple of games, back to win nows, and yeah, obviously we've got Waghorn and Washington as the front two / Mendes Lang. When you look at it on BBC, it still says we're playing the 3-5-2, which we kind of are in defensive situations. But I think in other situations, we're still playing the 4-3-3. It's a bit weird, but I kind of like it at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of Jake Rooney goes out to right back and Forsyth plays that left back role. What it looks like anyway when you actually watch. But yeah, Sky Sports and everyone decides to say that we're still playing that dreaded 3-5-2.
Yeah, which I'm not. I don't know. I feel like we went to it during what game was it where we put Bradley on towards the. Was it the Fleetwood game where we went
It
back
was
to the
a good
5?
game, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one option. I think when we've got a 2-goal lead, I don't mind that. But I think with the 1-goal lead, it's a little bit risky doing something like that. But we'll have to wait and see over the next few weeks, of course, what happens. But obviously, deadline day coming up in the next couple of days. So I think in terms of areas we need to improve on, I feel like one more striker would be nice, because if we get an injury to anyone, then there's going to be an issue if we're playing this front two kind of system. And I think the ones that have come into the team that have done really well, of course, Waghorn, Liam Thompson, and I think Curtis Nelson's actually doing a lot better now that we're playing a 4 at the back. So there's a lot of positives since the previous week.
I think the weakest link that I'm seeing currently over the past 2 games is Horahan. In all honesty, I think he's just getting a bit out muscled. And I mean, even though in the Peterborough game we only had Fauna for about 10 minutes, he just looked more reassured. He's a
Yeah.
bit bulkier of a guy, so of course he's got the strength to kind of hold people back, of course, kind of command and push forward. Whereas Horahan, yeah, he likes to be kind of, oh, I'll cross it in, he's a good passer, but he don't really have anything defensively or attacking wise apart from, of course, crossing or a long pass, which
Yeah.
he's not done amazingly well at. And Horahan's kind of he's a player to have when you've got a lot of possession. And what's shown with Derby at the moment is that yeah, we're getting results, but we're not having the possession nearly as much. Even at home, Fleetwood nearly had 60% possession. So it just shows that we need to have people that are willing to work and run instead of being able to pass the ball
Yeah.
30,
I think
40 yards across
I was
the ball.
amazed. I was amazed the cashing goal at the weekend. We did about against Fleetwood. We did about 5 or 6 short corners, and not a single one worked. Do the first one against Peterborough, and it pays off, and Cashin scores the edit. It's like one of them. He actually gave him the Monday off, I think he said, training because of that, because we actually scored from a set piece for once. But yeah, I think the Fauna signing on I assume it's a free transfer, but a permanent signing is great business, because he's 23, 24, playing last season in the Championship, and obviously he's something that we haven't got in that midfield. So I think I quite like. It's kind of similar to Liam Thompson, that energy in there. And honestly, Liam Thompson's really impressed me. I didn't see him coming into the team and being a first team player, but he's done really, really well in these last few games. So with Jake Rooney, he's done really well at right back. And it's just nice that we can include the academy players in the first team. That's one thing you don't get to see with a lot of teams dotted around the country. They just bring in whatever they want and don't really develop their academy. So that's good to see, of course. I'm not really 100% sure about John Jules. I know he did a little bit at Ipswich last season. But I think if Paul Warren wants him, that's the kind of thing he seems to be happy with.
If he stays fit, he's a 10-goal a season striker. It's just dependent on if he's fit. That's the issue. Between the start of the season and I think it was the end of November, amazing for Ipswich, but it's just dependent on if he stays fit, but he's very similar to Collins with how he
Yeah.
wants to play. It's more bring the ball to me, I'll pass it out, I'll then try and make another run. Bit Harry Kane-esque, whereas they're still, out of these 4 strikers that we've now got on the books, none of them are target men. And that's how Paul Warren wants to play.
Yeah.
So how you said with the extra striker, that's the only way I can see us getting someone else. And I think, wasn't he after Matt Smith, I believe?
Michael
Early in the
Smith.
season?
Michael Smith,
Oh, Michael Smith, sorry.
the Sheffield
Yeah,
Wednesday. But yeah, again, target man. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get Michael Smith though, because Sheffield Wednesday aren't. I think they're still bottom of the championship at the minute with literally no points after 4 games. So I don't know if Sheffield Wednesday are going to want to get rid of one of their better players from last season, but maybe they will. Yeah, I think we need an extra attacker. I don't know what else we'd kind of need now, but I think we do need 2 or 3. I think he was looking at a right wing back, wasn't he? Because of obviously now Wilson technically should be back apparently sooner rather than he thought. He thought it'd be like 8 weeks, but it's going to be next couple. And then Ward's out until about November. So I don't know what we'll do with that department, because I'm kind of happy with Jake Rooney playing there. And if worst comes to worst, we just put Corey Smith out right wing back or right back. And then maybe looking at some more pace. I think that's probably what we need. Obviously, there's Tom Barkhausen to come back as well at some point, so he'll have that. Yeah, I'm kind of.
well,
like
I saw Barkhausen at the cricket yesterday. Of course, they played Fozzie's testimonial.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Barkhausen, he played and he was running, so that kind of gave me a bit of a kind of indication of is he going to be back sooner? As he wouldn't have been allowed to play that otherwise, would he?
No.
So that's the hope.
Yeah, the away win is like ridiculous when you really think about it. Like Derby winning away against one of the biggest teams in the league is a really good statement, especially if you have to go 1-0 down. We could have very easily dropped our heads. I said when Peterborough scored, if we don't score before the end of the first half, I don't see us getting back in it, but we did, manage to drag it back. What was it, 4-1 at half time? It's just ridiculous, really.
And I mean, it shows that literally with the stats at the end of the game, they've had nearly 200 more passes than us.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 60% possession. They've had another shot on target to us. We only have 5 shots on target and scored 4 goals. So
yeah,
clinical. Showing that we're clinical.
Martin WAGHORN for you. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that the only reason we have signed WAGHORN is because of a testimonial kind of thing. Like, he just wouldn't have been on the radar. And that's 5. Is it 5 goals already this season?
5 goals, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no reason why he can't get 20 by the end of the season, at a minimum. Maybe even 30 if we're lucky. But yeah, really glad it's clicked this early on, because I think if it didn't click for this game in particular, there would have been question marks about the manager. But now he's got that breathing space, I think, because obviously we've got Bolton next week, which at this point I'd take a draw. I think they're one of the better teams, away from home, of course. So if we can get a win against them,
they look shocking against if they played Burton Albion. Of course, they're kind of close to us. Of course, they went a goal down and they were literally getting knocked across the park by Burton, like out-muscled and everything. So I'm just hoping if we play the same football we played against Peterborough, we're gonna smash them. If they got a late consolation goal.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we should do well with that aspect. And then after that, I think it's Portsmouth.
Yeah.
After the international break.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird, because I don't know who's gonna get maybe cash into the under-21 squad for Ireland, but other than that, I don't see who else is getting called up, to be honest.
Mendes Lang is your other one.
Oh, if he's I don't know how their fixtures work out in South America. Or is it North America? Or is Guatemala? It might be North America, something like that, yeah.
And then I was thinking maybe Washington, as he's Northern Irish.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe he's the one. But yeah, see, it seemed odd that we called it off so early before the squads were even like announced. So it's probably Cashin that's the one that's triggered it, because they know the under-21 squad's pretty locked in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens on deadline day. To be honest, I think if we can get 2 or 3 names in, if we can get any loans, because we haven't got a single loan other than John Jules now. That's the other thing I've realised, is that he's the only first loan that we've got, and we've not utilised that, because that's how Plymouth practically got promoted last season, was loaning about 7 or 8 players from Premier League and Championship teams. So I think we do need that squad depth. I think if you get those injuries in 1 or 2 positions, I don't know if we do need, like, I like that we've got Forsyth and Elder, but with Forsyth's record, I know he wasn't injured last season, but in the past he's got ACLs 3-4 times.
Yeah.
That's going to be one area you got to look at as well. Especially with him playing, I don't know why we've been playing Forsyth so much when we've got Elder as the option. We seem to be subbing off the other side and then putting Elder as almost like a second left back. That's what we did against Peterborough anyway. Obviously, if the fitness squad are happy with Forsyth at the minute, then there's not really much to worry about in that department.
100%. And I mean, it's unlucky that, of course, WAGHORN, with, of course, the target man that everyone wants, didn't try and snap up Troy Deeney or something like that. He's gone to Forest Green, and
Yeah,
he's old, but could do a job. He's never really dabbled in League One, so of course I feel like it's a bit of a kind of.
I think he's
a McGoldrick-esque player.
Yeah, I think he's a bit past it though, because he didn't really do that much in Birmingham last year. So that's why he's dropped down to League Two more than likely.
Yeah,
and probably is kind of done with his playing career now and just wants to do the coaching side a bit more, because I think they're in a situation, Forest Green, where if their managers doesn't do well, they'll probably give it Deeney, kind of like when Rooney joined us. I think that's what I kind of see happening there. Yeah, let us know if you do know any suggestions for topics that you want to see on this channel. Obviously, we're happy to talk about Derby as much as we want. But yeah, I think the midfield with Smith, Thompson, and Horahan. It's going to be interesting now, Fauna and Bird coming back in eventually, how that ends up by Christmas time. Obviously, we've already had, like 3 or 4 changes just in the first 4 or 5 games of the season that have completely changed the team. So if we sign somebody on deadline day, it might just change all over again. But I think he'll stick with this team for Bolton. I don't think we'll make any changes. I don't think that's going to be a difference. So yeah, we'll probably just wrap it up there. That's a nice and easy week for us with the WAGHORN hat-trick and cash in with a goal. But yeah, make sure you drop a like if you are enjoying these videos. We'll try and get one back up on Saturday or Sunday after the Bolton game, and we'll catch you all next time.